Welcome to Powering Through Life on the Divas That Care Network. I'm your host, Teresa Sims, and I'm a transformational life coach and a multiple award-winning author. Each week on Powering Through Life, my guests and I discuss a special topic that is close to their heart. Together, we explore the challenges they have faced in life and learn what strategies and tools they have used to power through their lives. Now, today, my guest is a dear friend of mine, and her name is Deborah Kaniski. And Deborah is the Executive Director of Blue Sky Thrivalist Services, where she serves as a certified mental health practitioner, author, inspirational speaker, and photographer who should have been a statistic of abuse, trauma, and addiction. But instead, Deborah rose above the adversity. Through personalized self-love guidance, writing her memoirs, sharing her nature photography, and inspirational speaking, Deborah supports others to thrive on their own journey of self-love, soul healing, and self-awareness. Deborah's favorite saying is, if she can thrive, so can you. So Deborah, welcome to Powering Through Life.
Good morning, Teresa.
How are you today?
I'm great. I am
Good.
great, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so
Thank
glad
you
we
for
finally
having
got. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so glad we finally got to do this. It's been a while coming.
It has.
Yeah, but you know what? We always save the best, don't we?
Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like your topic today. It's Survivalist to Thrivalist, healing naturally through Mother Nature. So I'm wondering, Deborah, if you can explain the phrase survivalist to thrivalist and how that relates to you and your story.
Well, survivalist to thrivalist is kind of my tagline, and basically how I've lived my life. For the first 39 years of my life, I was barely hanging on by a thread and thriving. I was barely surviving. I was an alcoholic, and
why would you call yourself a survivalist? What have you gone through that's so dramatic in your life?
Well, my mother was a prostitute. My father was an outlaw biker, and I was raised in a home that was filled with abuse, neglect, trauma. And so I became addicted to alcohol at a very young age, the age of 10 to be exact.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. And so when I tell people that, they're like, you must be, fabricating. And I'm like, no, there's no fabrication. That's, that was my life. And so I lived that life basically until I was 39. And then at the age of 39, instead of doing what I was taught by my parents, which was that I should, sell myself, that I decided to go back to school with a grade 9 education.
Good stuff.
And so, thank you. And so I took mental health rehabilitation because as a young girl and young woman and young mom, I didn't have a support system that understood the traumas and the abuse that I had been through. I didn't have those people. And so I wanted to become that beacon of hope for other people who have been in my situation, to let them know that no matter how hard your life is, and no matter what you have survived, you can always, always, always thrive over those things when you choose to love yourself.
Oh, that's so absolutely true, Deborah. I mean, and I know you're not fabricating. I mean, our lives were not that much different. However, when we grow up with stuff like that goes on in our family homes, we assume that that's normal. We think, it's almost like, well, isn't everybody's house like this? Kind of thing.
Absolutely. I always say we don't know what we don't know, right?
Exactly. So, you're right about making the choices, though. It is all about choice. You had the choice to either go down the same path as your parents or step away from it.
Absolutely.
And
I stepped away from...
You chose the right thing.
I absolutely did. I absolutely did. And so now instead of surviving, I thrive, and I'm teaching, for the past 10 years, I've been teaching others how to thrive after their abuse, trauma, and addiction.
That's incredible. So can you tell me what is all involved in the mental health rehabilitation? Like, is that a specific program, or... Because I'm not sure we have that in Ontario, so I know you're not in Ontario. So,
well, mental health practitioner is basically, I do things holistically, and I just offer support and guidance to those who are looking to better their life and make the change, you know, from surviving to thriving, because everybody deserves to live a happy life. And I didn't realize that I wasn't happy. I was just sort of floating through life. And then when I found self-love, when I was going to school, I found out that I had worth, and it was so empowering to me. And it was like, yes, this is what I have to bring to the world now. Right. And so I did a 3-year course through the college and graduated with honors.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And that was where I started my inspirational speaking, because the college recognized where I had come from and where I had grown to in those 3 years. And so the first time I ever spoke was in front of 700 people, speaking the truth of my past, and being vulnerable in front of people for the first time in my life. And so it just sort of blossomed after that, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is what I need to do. You know, I need to tell people my story so they get it, and that they understand that we're never alone.
Exactly, and that's the whole point of it, of our sharing our stories, is it may not be exactly the same, but there's one key piece that is actually all the same in this, and that it's affecting our mind, body, and soul, and our happiness.
Our mental health.
Yeah, and when that's missing, you can't thrive, right?
Absolutely not.
Right. So
absolutely not.
How was going in front of 700 people the first time? How did you manage that?
Well, it was nerve-wracking. It was terrifying. But I had my family there supporting me, and I had friends there that I had made while going to college. And it was the first time in my life that I ever felt supported. Mm-hmm. And so for me, although it was terrifying, because I'm a very introverted person, and standing in front of 700 people is really not something that I would normally choose to do, it was something I knew my heart had to do. I had to do it, and honestly, I'm so grateful I did.
That's fantastic. You know, when it comes from the heart, it's just amazing what happens. You know, you probably touched so many lives, and people maybe won't admit it at that point in time because they can't for whatever reason, but you planted seeds, and the hope was there, and the choice was given to them, and opportunities. So fantastic job. I'm so proud of what you did. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So, Deborah, what do you think was the catalyst for your change in your life? Like, when did you finally feel like, I've hit bottom, this is it, you know that point I'm talking about, right?
I absolutely, and you know what? It was a specific point. And so I was 39. I was a functioning alcoholic. I was raising my children. I was working 3 jobs. You know, everything was going great. However, I had so much pain and hurt inside of me, and I had no self-love. I had no self-worth. And I was, I guess, dating this man who I knew he had girls working for him on the side, and he once in a while would joke with me about, you know, making extra money, and I always pushed it off because I didn't want to be my mother's daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't want to go down that road. But the only difference between what I was doing and what she was doing is she was getting paid and I wasn't. I was looking for something that was fulfilling for me. I was looking for someone to love me for the first time. And at 39, never experiencing love from another human being other than my children was really, really hard for me. So I was dating this man, and he sang a song to me after I had finally agreed to go on a job for him. I had agreed to go on a paid date with a man because it was Christmas time and I was low on money, and he sang me a song about how much money we were going to make, and it was a slap in my face because he was basically saying in my face that, you are worthless and I'm just proving that to you, and I was going to allow him to do that.
Oh, my goodness.
It was, the beautiful thing is that I recognized it. I don't know how, but I recognized it. And I got out of that vehicle with him, and I told him never to contact me again. And I went in the house, and I crawled into bed with my sons, and I curled up with them, and it was like, you know what? You made the right decision. And my life completely changed after that, because it was within a few months that I was enrolled in school, and I had chosen to turn my life around.
Yeah, absolutely powerful. My goodness. It's amazing what, when we're at that point, we're almost at the point of no return. And
there was no return.
Yeah, and I understand that part about looking for love everywhere because you were never given it. You
Absolutely.
didn't know what it meant. It was just a word people threw out, and
it was not even a word I heard.
Yeah,
that was not a word I heard.
Oh boy. Yeah, in some situations, yeah. And I mean, both of us had neglect and abuse and trauma, and you look for those things that it's like a dream, it's like a hope, it's like a desperate need, but you don't know what it is at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even know what it is when you get it sometimes, because it's just so off piece from what you've experienced, right?
Absolutely.
So did you find it hard to let the love in once you made your choice?
I did, because I had been taught that I had no worth or value. And so when I started going to college, I found out I was very smart, which I was always told I would never amount to anything or anything like that. So I found out I was smart, and I found out that I was a very caring, loving individual that people gravitated towards because they could sense something in me that I didn't sense myself. Mm-hmm. And once I recognized and was given recognition for those traits, it was like the caterpillar coming out of the cocoon, with beautiful wings. I went in, I turned myself into goo, and I became beautiful. And
I like that.
Well, that's, a caterpillar has to become a big pile of goop before it can grow wings and fly. Absolutely. And so I did that, and it was the most beautiful gift I ever gave myself.
Yeah. And it leads us beautifully right into your photography aspect too, which you have an incredible talent for. And
thank you.
Your images are so stunning. I sit in awe and just look at them, and I imagine out west where you are. Well, I'm sitting here in Ontario, just through your photography. It's just stunning. But
thank you so much.
So what made you make the choice into photography, other than you knew you had a talent for it? But
well,
Yeah.
Photography didn't come to me naturally. Some people it does. For me, it didn't. As a child, coming from where I came from, my father victimized me through a camera, and I say that I'm the poster child of child pornography because my father used to take pictures of me that were very inappropriate. And so at the age of 19, it was pointed out to me that the images that he were taking of me were not family photos. They were not appropriate by any stretch. But once again, we don't know what we don't know. I thought they were just normal photos, you know, and I thought every dad said to his little girl, you know, lick your lips and stick out your ass. I thought that was normal. And so up until the age of 19, when I had a gentleman who was actually developing the photographs that my father was taking of me, he pointed it out to me that they were, you know, he was turned on by them, but that they were wrong for a father to be taking of a daughter. And so I had a friend at the time say, hey, you know, I know you're going through this. You can come on a trip with me to get away, but you need to be sober. And I was like, oh, and that was at 19. So I hadn't been sober in almost a decade.
Wow.
And so September 1st, 1988, we left Alberta on his FJ 1200 Yamaha motorcycle. We had no agenda in sight, and we had very little money, but we just knew we were going to go away. I was sober for the first time, and so we got far away enough from home, and he says, oh, by the way, you need to take the pictures. I told my parents that I would be sending photographs, and seeing how I'm driving and you're sitting on the back, I need you to take pictures. So he put a camera in my hands, and I almost dropped it because I was so traumatized by a camera. And I said, no, I can't do this. And he said, yes, you can.
Wow.
You became sober, and you can do anything.
Absolutely. And talk about facing your demon, right?
Facing my demons. And for me, like, I'd always been very close to Mother Nature. Mother Nature is really the only nurturing mother that I've ever had. And so I grew up out in the country where I would watch the bees and I would watch the ants, and that's what kept me occupied. I didn't have TV. I had Mother Nature to teach me the ways of life.
Wow. That's good teacher. Good teacher.
She's a beautiful, great teacher. Mm-hmm. And she's always there for you. You know, you just have to look. You just have to open your eyes, and she's there.
Exactly.
And so I sat on the back of the motorcycle for 150 days through 23 states in America, and we went into Mexico a few times, and I took the photographs of the landscapes and everything that was so new to me. It was the first time I saw the world through sober eyes, and I completely fell in love. And so I think that love for Mother Nature really, I hope that it really reflects through my photography, and it gives me another way to share my beautiful message.
Absolutely.
Of resilience and hope. So
talk about an awakening,
an awakening.
A beautiful
100%.
awakening. Yeah. So now I know you're an excellent writer too, because I've read your books. And
thank you.
Do you want to tell us how all of that came about, why you chose to write, what it's done for you, and who it's helped, besides me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I finished college, I had this new perspective. I had a degree under my belt, I went in with a grade 9 education. I never thought that, and I have dyslexia, so I never thought that I would be an author. But I had, my children had always said, Mom, you've lived such an incredible life. You really should write it and share it with the world. And I was like, nobody's going to want to read my story. But then I talked to some friends and people that I met, and they were like, oh, I would absolutely devour your book if you wrote it. So I sat down and I finished, that was actually the exclamation point at the end of my healing process, was taking my life and putting it on paper and writing it out and having to face all of those demons in one foul swoop and be like, you know what? You happened, you're recorded now, and it's done. It is time to move on, and it was literally the most cathartic and healing journey I've ever done. So I took 16 months. I wrote the first book, and now I've got the second book, the third book, and I'm writing on 4, 5, and 6. So writing has been a really huge tool in my healing journey, and I encourage everyone I know to share their story through either blogging or writing a book or anything like that, because it is so important to get our truth out there so that other people can realize that they're not alone.
Exactly. I so agree with that. And I know my journey was very similar to that. It's just like the weight of the world is lifted off your shoulders. You no longer, and my favorite saying is, I am no longer owned by the story. I own it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We own our stories. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I was mentioning to a client yesterday about, journaling, which is very much a good tool to use when you're starting the healing journey and the healing process. But she mentioned that she doesn't like it. It just doesn't work for her. So I said, okay, how about using the record button on your phone? It doesn't matter how you get it out. Just get it out, talk it out, and write it out and talk it out. Yeah, whichever one works best for you, because some of us are different learners, different types of, we use visual, auditory, kinesthetic way of learning, and whatever works best for you, just do it.
The only thing that makes us the same is that we're all different.
I like that. That's perfect. Oh, my goodness. So I know that your photography is just absolutely incredible. And now what have you done with it? Are you sharing that part yet?
Well, I never thought I would, but I have become a clothing designer and home and office decor designer. So I've taken my photography and I've created leggings and draped kimonos and skirts and dresses and wall art and shower curtains and anything and everything in your life that could be wrapped in nature's love. I have taken and placed stunning photography on so that we can wrap ourselves in nature and have that hug by Mother Nature every day.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
I've looked at a lot of your stuff, and you are absolutely right about being wrapped in Mother Nature's love and what she offers us. And that is fantastic. Sure. And if it's all right with you, we'll include the website with the segment, if that works for you.
All of my work is available. So books, photography, self-love guidance, all of that is available on my website at www.deborahkniske.com.
Perfect. And we'll share that. We'll share your email address, and we'll put everything on there so people can get in touch with you and learn more about you, ask questions, buy your clothing, buy your wall art. It's amazing stuff, Divas. You really need to check out Deborah's work. I am so impressed by it, and I just love her books, and I think you are the most incredible, passionate person and inspirational that I've met in a very long time. And I haven't met you yet. Physically.
No, we haven't met in person, but we do chat quite regularly, which is awesome. I love chatting with you. You're such a great person. And I love your story. I mean, you're so inspirational too. So it's nice to have those kindred spirits and those relationships with people who get it. They get who we are and what we've been through and where we're going, despite where we've been.
Exactly. And I think that's how we actually got connected about 3-4 years ago, was we were in a book together.
We were.
Becky Norwood, yes, and many other individuals. So, Deborah, is there a favorite quote that you would like to leave the listeners, the Divas, with?
Favorite quote. I would say favorite quote is, anyone can thrive. You just have to choose it. You don't have to survive. There are other options. And if you don't know what they are, please reach out to either me or Teresa or any one of your other girlfriends, and we will help you on that path to getting you where you deserve to be.
Perfect. Absolutely. It's just that one little action step it takes. Just reach out one
baby
more time.
steps.
Yeah.
Reach out and take baby steps. It's all worth it.
Absolutely. Well, Deborah,
and
I'm
have
so
Kleenex
glad.
ready.
Oh, yeah, that too. Always have the Kleenex because
always have Kleenex ready.
I think that's our way of washing the pain off of our soul.
100%.
Yeah. So
tears
Deborah,
are beautiful, very healing.
Oh, yes, exactly. Well, I really want to thank you for being such an awesome guest today and for sharing your story and the beautiful work that you do. So, as I mentioned, we will have your picture and the interview and all of your connection links, and I think everybody should reach out to Deborah and find out what she's all about, what she can do, and how she can help you. So, thanks for being an awesome guest.
Thank you for being an awesome host. I appreciate you very much, Teresa.
You're very welcome, and thank you. So, Divas, that brings to a close another great, inspiring interview on Powering Through Life. I'd really like to thank my incredible guest, Deborah Kaniski, for sharing her thoughts and wisdoms with our listeners today. And if you'd like to get in touch with Deborah, all of the links and her image and the audio will be on www.divasthatcare.com. You click on my picture, that's Teresa Sims, and all of the recordings, interviews are there. Share them, listen to them, let the guest know what you felt about their interview, what you thought, how they touched your soul. So anyway, Divas, thanks for listening to Powering Through Life.